one Nightmare Griffin. This is the only Link 4 I'm playing. This is really good for the combo that uses that gets around Mega Fleet because it helps me put my markers into the main monster zones. So it lets me use markers like these. So by putting Sager here and Griffin here, I have access to this monster zone.
Hey guys, I'm here with
Timothy Lee.
And what'd you do today?
I was playing Cyber Dragons and unfortunately, I ranked 71st after standings, but it was due to a technicality in round 12 and round 11 where my deck was stolen, so I didn't have a deck to play. So I was X1 today until round 11, and because my deck was stolen, I didn't have a deck. I basically dropped round 11 and 12 for free, so I ended the standings X3, so I didn't get the top. But it was a really good deck. It went X1 in Swiss, and the only reason why I went X3 was because I lost my deck.
Thank God you got your deck back. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Man, if you lost your deck, it's a lot of money. This is a very expensive deck, right?
Yeah.
How much is this deck worth?
This deck in max rarity, which is like everything here is like max rarity, is worth probably over $1,000 to $2,000. So it's a lot.
That's crazy, but thank God you got that. Let's go do the deck profile, okay?
So to start, obviously, Cyber Dragon deck, you need to play 3 Cyber Dragons. Doesn't really need much explaining. Ultimate first. Doesn't need much explaining. It's just the heart of the deck. You need to play it. So Cyber Dragon, obviously staple 3. 3 Cyber Dragon cores. Core is pretty much standard. It searches you basically for all your spells, and all your spells search for monsters. So because this basically gives you access to like 70% of the deck, you need to play that 3. You always want to open it turn 1. And also, it's a really good bait for Ash, because if they Ash your core, you can usually resolve a Machine Dupe, because they wouldn't be having a hand trap to deal with the Machine Dupe. And after that, you should take control of the board and have a big tempo swing because of that Dupe resolves. 3 Cyber Dragon hurts. This is really good because it searches for your Cyber Dragon cores and your Cyber Dragons. And if you have all your Cyber Dragons in the graveyard, it basically can grab you any card that you want when it's in the graveyard. A big thing is that it's when it's at the graveyard and not something from the graveyard. So you can discard it for Twin Twister, add a Cyber Dragon or add any Cyber Dragon monster, and then if you have another Twin Twister, you basically pitch 3 cards and pop 4 cards on board. It's also really good for comboing with Galaxy Soldier, and in situations where you want to summon it from your deck with by Course Effect or activate with Rev System, you can make it a level 5, and it helps you usually exceed with other cards into Novo or Infinity. It doesn't come up too often, but it does come up. It came up once in day 1. 1 Cyber Dragon Vire. Now, a lot of people don't play Cyber Dragon Vire, and a lot of people don't know what this card does. So what Cyber Dragon Vire does specifically is when I normal spell summon a Cyber Dragon, I can reveal this card from my hand, and then I can spell summon onto the board in defense position. The first effect is that it's obviously a Cyber Dragon, and the second effect is that it buffs all my Cyber Dragon by 500 attack and defense, which most people don't read, and it also buffs itself. So if you set it on the board, and they attack into it, it's actually a 2100 defender, so it's actually a pretty big body, and it also helps all your Cyber Dragons get plus 500. So your Seeger, your Cyber Dragon all 26, and it's also a different level for Cyber Dragon Overflow, which is a really good trap that I'm going to show you guys later. So for hand traps, I'll play 2 Ghost Ogre. I didn't play Ash. I actually wanted to play Ash yesterday, but when I went to hand in my deck list, I wanted the pre-rare to get the dice, so I handed in my deck list with Ogre on it, and then I was testing later that night, and I was like, you know what, Ash is probably better than Ogre, but they didn't let me play Ogre. They didn't let me play Ash because I already handed in my deck list, so I ended up playing Ogre. It comes up sometimes. It's pretty good against Goki Twist Cobra because if you have an Infinity on the board and they want to get rid of it because you have like a Floodgate, they can't make a monster to get rid of it, so they have to beat over Goki cards. And what Goki is actually really good at is they're actually good at beating over monsters because Twist Cobra can pump cards, and Bear Hug can have to attack of your monsters. So with Ghost Ogre, they would usually use a Bear Hug and Twist Cobra combo to half and pump, so you can only negate 1. So if you Ghost Ogre one of their monsters, then they lose that effect, so your Infinity can negate the other one, and basically after that they'll have to pass play to you, so they don't want to random monsters into you. One use a Cure to start destroying Kaiju. It's good against Sky Striker because you can tribute their monster, and this is in the main monster zone, so it turns off all your spells and traps. It's also good against stuff like Paleo, which I actually did come across, and it's a good card in general. It's pretty big, so it's a light machine, so you can search it with Cyber Repair Plant, which is pretty public knowledge for all Cyber Dragon players. It's also pretty big, and you can fuse it off their board by you playing Chimeric Fortress Dragon. So it's basically always your card. You just use it to get rid of your opponent's monsters.
Very nice.
3 Galaxy Soldiers. Great card, light machine, searchable. Combos with hurts very well. Level 5, and it's just really good. A lot of people started playing 2 of these because you didn't want to like have it be inconsistent because you might have one in your hand and one in your hand, and you just want to get 1-for-1, so the last one in your deck won't be dead. But you really want to see this card opening up because it combos with Hurts, and you have so many ways to get to Hurts. So it's really good for comboing, and it's a good card. And at 3, sometimes if you have the third one, what you can do is if you use Cyber Repair Plant to shuffle 1 back from your graveyard into your deck, therefore you will have 2, and then you can keep the combo going.
Great.
So spells lineup. 1 Cyber Rev System.
Oh, really?
A lot of people start playing 2 or 3, but to be honest, it's not as good as a Monster Reborn and only runs Cyber Dragons. It does say that it cannot be destroyed by card effects, but usually when you bring a monster back with Cyber Rev System, it's usually going to be either Sager or a monster that you're going to fuse off or link off or exceed off anyways. So the second effect isn't as relevant as what people think. It's good on Seeger though, because when you bring the Seeger back, and it's pretty strong, so they can't really like pop it because it's immune, and you can use it to pump up your other monsters. Also, it's really good because you can put Seeger in like your monster zone, and then you'll have an arrow pointing to the side, which means that you can put Infinity like. So I'll show you on the map for a second. So if you have Activate Rev System, and you put like Seeger over here, and you have a Nova like over here, you can put your Infinity over here, and this gives you another extra deck monster zone. So this way you can actually abuse the way that Link mechanic works.
That's really cool.
So that's why I play a Rev System.
Okay.
2 Overload Fusion. Overload Fusion is just a really good card in general. It gets you to your Chimeric Rampage, which is kind of a win condition. It helps you steal wins. And it's generally just something that's like, it's one of your really few power cards. Because you have a few power cards in this deck that like, if they resolve successfully and the monster gets onto the board successfully, they're just gonna die. Because you put too much damage on board. And Rampage Dragon's a really good offensive card, because Rampage Dragon pops your opponent's back row and it also has multiple attacks. Like a lot of people don't know that Rampage Dragon attacks multiple times. They think it attacks twice, but it attacks 3 times, so it puts up a lot of damage on board. Also it mills too, so in case like, let's say you open up Brick, but you have 2 Cyber Dragon bosses in your graveyard, you can activate Overload Fusion for Rampage Dragon, and then you can mill a Hearts and a Core to your graveyard. And a Hearts will activate its effect, grabbing you to Core, and then you can normal summon the Core to continue extend play, and it makes your deck a lot more consistent. It is dead sometimes if you don't have Cyber Dragons, but if you don't have Cyber Dragons, you're kind of dead anyways, so Overload Fusion. 3 Machine Dupe, I resolve this, I win, so it's a good card. It baits out Ash. You don't want this to get Ashed, but it does bait out Ash. You're hoping usually that your Core will get Ash, so you can activate this, but a lot of the time, your Core will get hit by like a Baylor and Impermeance. You activate the Dupe to summon 2 more Cores, and you can activate a second Dupe on one of your new Cores, which aren't negated, to summon 2 Cyber Dragons in your deck. So you basically just turn 1 Core that was negated with 2 Machine Dupes into 3 Cores and 2 Cyber Dragons, which is pretty good. 3 Cyber Emergency, very standard search card, searches for most of your deck, gets you Core can search for it as well. Just good search card in general. And the second effect does come up sometimes when they negate the activation of it. Be wary because you cannot activate this effect if they ash it, because ash negates the effect of the monster, I mean the effect of the card, and not the activation. And this specifically says you need that activation negated. 2 Cyber Rev System, 2 Cyber Repair Plant. So a lot of people play 1 Repair Plant because they think that it's not good enough to play 2 of. I play 2 of because a lot of my deck revolves around recycling cards, and I use the second effect a lot. I usually try to resolve both effects if I could, but the second effect is actually really underrated. A lot of people only use it for the search effect. The second effect not only lets you play 1 Panzer Dragon with 2 instant fusions, but it also lets you play like 3 Galaxy Soldiers, and you can actually shuffle soldiers back into your deck, so you can recycle them. So I really like the Super Repair Plant. The second effect came up a lot this weekend. 2 Instant Fusion. This is a debatable card, but I personally like it because it summons Panzer Dragon. Panzer Dragon is a pretty good out because, like, let's say if they have Skill Drain, you can activate Instant Fusion, get a Panzer Dragon. At the end phase, Skill Drain will pop the Panzer Dragon, and Panzer Dragon says when it's destroyed, you'll pop a card on the board. So you can target the Skill Drain, target any Floodgate, Instant Fusion, pass, and then you pop your card. It's also a Fusion Summon, so if you can summon it back with Soul Charge. And a lot of people are saying, why are you playing 2 Instant Fusion and 1 Panzer Dragon? Because isn't the second one dead? Well, 1, I want to see it, and 2, like I said, the Cyber Repair Plant actually shuffles the Panzer Dragon back into the deck, because Cyber Repair Plant shuffles like machines. So that's why I only play 1 Panzer and 2 Instant Fusion. 1 Soul Charge. If you can resolve this card, and you can resolve it and summon 3 to 4 or 5 monsters, you can end up with a really broken board that a lot of people don't know about. It's actually really insane, because once you get that board, Sky Strikers, Go Keys, auto lose, and it's not like a board that uses up a lot of cards. I think it uses like 2 cards in your hand with the Soul Charge. Foolish Burial. You Foolish Burial allow for Hurts, and Hertz will activate the effect to grab you a Cyber Dragon or a Cyber Dragon monster. You can also Foolish Burial Core, and if you banish the core, you can spiral summon the cards from your deck. A lot of people don't know about the core thing, but Hertz is really good. And if you are like in a desperate time, you can push a core to your graveyard with Foolish, and you can banish the core for a Hertz. And Hertz is activate the effect to make it level 5 if you want, or it just gives you like another search card.
Okay.
One Monster Reborn. It's basically a better rev system. It revives most of your cards. It revives Infinity and Nova, which is really good because you can revive Infinity, activate effect, take their attack position monster, you get a negate, or you can revive Nova, overlay Infinity on top of it, and you get a Nova back. You can also revive your opponent's monsters, which is relevant sometimes, your Sager. Basically just kind of like a rev system that serves the same purpose with more targets.
Okay.
So, 2 Cybernetic Overflow. This is a really broken trap. So what this card does is, first of all, your opponents control cards. If they control cards, I can banish Cyber Dragons with different levels from my graveyard, and then I will pop the cards equal to the number of cards I banish. It doesn't target, it doesn't banish for cost, so it hits a lot of things. And for example, if it gets hit by like a Twin Twister or an MST or a backer removal, the second effect activates, which is when this card is destroyed, you can add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. So really good card. A lot of people play 1, but I think 2 is good enough to play.
Okay.
So I played 3 Gozen match in the main. So going into this event, I expected a lot of I expected a lot of meta. So stuff like Altergeist, Sky Striker, Goki. Most of them lose the Gozen match. It's a really good card, and I almost always keep it in if I play against meta inside. It doesn't actually come up much in game 1 because in game 1, usually I haven't really grinded with opponents in game 1. It's usually just like I summon a big board, I kill you, we go to game 2, and it's game 2. And 3 Infinite Impermanence. It's just the best hand trap right now. Doesn't get stopped by Call by the Grave, which isn't too relevant anymore. Setting it and turning off columns that have floodgates sometimes are relevant because a lot of people think that floodgates don't actually hurt this deck, but some decks like Paleo will keep Gozen Match in against you because they don't want you to go summon Cyber Dragon and then Mega Fleeting off their Toad. So Impermanence is good to turn off floodgates, also good to turn off stuff like Imperial Order and Skill Drain. So in general, better Veiler in most scenarios, and turns off cards that I want to turn off.
Very nice.
So that's the main deck total.
How many cards?
It's 40 cards.
Okay.
So going into the extra deck, we have Token.
Okay.
We actually don't use tokens, but I like having it just in case.
Yep. Seeger.
2 Cyber Dragon Seegers. A lot of people play 1 Seeger. I find myself making 2 a lot, and I find that it's a good card. I don't play any other Link 2s other than Seeger. So in general, I feel this is better than most times over Crowford Genius. I think it's also better in most scenarios over Hypocrite Shinigami. Great card. Activates during damage step, helps you get over cards. Also helps, it's a really good defensive card because having Seeger Infinity makes your opponent like really anxious to attack into you. And a lot of people also don't know that this card can target itself. They will go attack, you will go like damage step, activate effect target itself, and they'll like ram into your monster and they just lose their card. 1 Summon Sork.
Okay.
This is mainly the combo of Soul Charge, but Summon Sork actually also establishes a board that doesn't get hit by Mega Fleet. It's kind of rare, not a lot of people know about it, but Summon Sork is just a really good card. And it also gets you cards out of your deck. So for example, if you want a Hertz, or if you want a Galaxy Soldier in your grave, or a Cyber Dragon in your grave, Summon Sork can search all of it. 1 Nightmare Griffin. This is the only Link 4 I'm playing. This is really good for the combo that uses that gets around Mega Fleet because it helps me put my markers into the main monster zones. So it lets me use markers like these. So by putting Sager here and Griffin here, I have access to this monster zone. And because this combo works, I can go Sager, summon Griffin here, and because it's co-linked, I'll be able to draw 1 by using Griffin's effect as well.
Okay.
And I'm able to move my Nova from here to over here into an Infinity if I want to. And this way they can't Mega Fleet because I don't have a monster in the extra deck monster zone.
Okay.
Also, sometimes I would make it over here and have a monster over here. And that way, they don't have a way to make their cards linked, so all their special summon monsters can't activate their effects. In general, it's a very underrated card, and it just does a lot that you don't expect. Like, you wouldn't expect this card to do so much, but in Cyber Dragons, it's very underrated and does a lot. 1 Pallades.
Bouncy Castle.
Doesn't come up, actually, as much as you think it is, but it's a nice emergency card. It came up maybe once in all the rounds, but I like it, and I think it's good. 2 Cyber Dragon Nova, pretty standard, kind of like the heart of your deck. Rank 5, gets you all your monsters back from the graveyard, does a ton of damage. And Seeger and Nova, basically hit your opponent for game whenever you can resolve it. And it goes into infinity, of course. So, great card. And if any chance they pop it, you can activate and resolve the second effect, which presents the Fuse the Machine monsters from your extra deck, which is just good.
Nice.
2 infinity. Some people play 1 infinity. I like 2 because it comes up enough. So 2 is good, just in case you need it. And infinity is infinity. It's a good control card. It has a lot of attack points and it steals your opponent's monsters. And stealing your opponent's monsters is pretty good against like Sky Striker and stuff because they don't activate like their monster effects. Also good against Goki because you don't activate their monster effects to float. Good against Draco because they take their Dynamite and they're like, you have my Dynamite, and you're like, yeah, I have your Dynamite. What are you gonna do now?
No way.
So it's pretty good against that too when it goes off. 2 Rampage Dragons.
What do these do?
This effect is, there's 2 effects. So the first effect is you can activate Overload Fusion to summon it, and depending on how many cards you banish, that's the number of back row on the board that you can target and destroy. So sometimes when you have an empty board and you activate this card, you can target your own Gozen match and turn it off because this is dark, and that lets you summon lights. Also, it helps you clear your opponent's back row, which is good. And the second effect is the milling effect, which gives you basically more attacks. So like I said earlier, you can mill a hearts and a quarter, add a quarter to your hand, and it'll attack 3 times. And it does a lot of damage, and people don't expect like the fast damage to come out that quickly. 2 Mega Fleet. Really good card to get rid of cards in the extra deck monster zone. 1 just isn't enough. It came up by testing too much. Good card. That's all I can say about it. 1 Fortress Dragon. Mainly for the Kaiju, but it also helps you get past Makaba, and it also helps you. Actually, at one time, my opponent made a board of Cosmos, and they're all machine. So I go Sparrow Summon Cyber Dragon. I scoop their whole board up to make like a 5k Chimera deck, and since you scoop them up by fusion, they don't get their monster effects. So you have a 5k Chimera deck, it just hits them with 5k, and they just lose like 4 cards on board. For the last card, I play Panther Dragon. It's a future target, you already know why it's good. So yeah. So for the side, 2 Inspector Borders. Good against stuff like Trickstar, good against stuff like Ultrageist. Good card in general for most meta decks. You can switch to a repair plan. Opening up with it isn't that bad, and if you really need to get rid of it, you can either just link it off or contact it off.
You got tickets, you want to sell them? Got ballots.
1 Cyber Eltanian. I thought it was good against Goki. I never sided it in, even against Goki. I figured out whenever I drew it, I'm just like, shit, I don't want this card in my hand. So, probably don't play this card in the future. 3 Twin Twister. Twin Twister is a good card. It gets rid of back row, helps you get rid of floodgates. Just good card in general. Like, it's good against every meta deck. It's relevant against every meta deck. I didn't draw it too much, but I drew it when it counted against Paleo, and it was just really good. 3 Evenly. From other people's deck profiles, you already know that Evenly is a great card. Gets rid of cards when you are low on board. Really good against Ultrageist, really good against Draco, really good against Paleo. Also good against greedy Sky Striker players that want to just go multi-roll, put all their cards on the board, and just go evenly, and they lose like all their resources. 3 Shared Ride. Great against Goki, great against Sky Striker, great against a lot of things like Mech Knight, Invoke, Trickstar. Came up a lot, always netted me 2 to 3 cards. There's actually one play that was interesting. So it was my turn. Oh no, it was my opponent's turn. And I had Shared Ride active. And he was like, all right, I'm just gonna shotgun Shared Ride, and I'm gonna set my Reincarnation and summon double Licorice, and I'm gonna burn you for like 44, and you're gonna die. And he actually light staged my Cybernetic Overflow that turn. So he passed on double Licorice, and I activated my Overflow because he light staged it at the end phase, and I popped both of his Licorices. And then he was like, shit, I don't burn anymore. So that won me the game. And the last 3 cards are 3 Rivalry of Warlords. Good Floodgate card. You don't want a main deck like over Gozen because it doesn't hit as much decks as Gozen does. But good against Sky Striker, good against Goki, and good Floodgate.
What's your name again? And any shoutouts?
Shout out to Gaming Universe Corp. They're my sponsor and they brought me here. Shout out to Luxury Gaming because I actually lost this deck, and because Luxury Gaming was so nice, they helped me find it. And I didn't top, but thank you so much for getting the deck back. Shout out to my whole group here, Chris for topping. I'm so angry. Great YouTube channel. Check out his content. Well, you're obviously checking out his content because if you're here, but check out his content some more.
Oh, thank you so much.
All my team members: Angel Serrano, Dan Garcia, Peter Serrano.
Community members.
Yes. Community. This was honestly a great experience. Didn't go so well at the end for me, but I'm so happy I came. It was a good experience and I had fun. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Bye bye.